What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video today, in lieu of yesterday's video where I was talking about the LA riots, and protests and stuff that was going on, all the stuff was going on in LA, and then I kind of briefly connected a little bit with the No Kings protest that's supposed to happen this Saturday, along with connecting that to or talking about the army parade and stuff that's supposed to happen Saturday. The Trump's military army parade march or whatever that's supposed to happen in D.C. And I wanted to take today another step forward, kind of going a little bit deeper with concerns around this Saturday specifically. So but quickly, it seems that the LA stuff is quieted down a little bit. Last night was not, from my understanding, not as bad as the previous nights. There was a curfew put in place by the city ordinance or whatever, anyways, and that seemed to quell a lot of people being out. So I mean, that from my understanding, there still was some presence apparently, but it wasn't nearby what it had been the following or the previous couple of nights. But even so, like we of course also on top of that, there was an additional 2,000 National Guards that were um, kind of being uh, mobilized or whatever, um, or additional 2,000. So now it's like 4,000 National Guardsmen that have been sort of pre-mobilized for that area, along with the 700 Marines. So it was a growing number of presence, military, federal, uh, presence there. Um, but now thinking about what's supposed to happen this Saturday, okay, you have um, the protests. No King's protest is supposed to be happening, and um, this right now is the map for these locations. I should have had this already out. Um, there at this point, or the last update I saw, there are over 2,000 locations. And I think it pretty much looks now to be global. 2,000 locations uh, across the globe that are over 2,000 that are planned to have some sort of protests um, connected to No Kings, uh, connected to the 50-50 one. All of these different groups that are all kind of coalescing together to um, to protest against actions and stuff being made by Trump and his administration regime, whatever. And it is a lot, but it's not even, like I said, just the United States. As you can see, you have locations through Mexico, through Latin America, even one location down here in Colombia. We have over here in San Juan and stuff. We have Hawaii, but even in Europe, there are locations all throughout Europe: Ireland, United Kingdom, Scotland, Norway, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland and Italy, France, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, even Greece, even Greece. But that's not even all. That's not even all. There's even a location down here in South Africa. There's a location in Australia. Even a location out here in the Philippines. So there it is. It is like widespread, of course, all through Alaska, all through the U.S. But it is a growing number. Now, mainly, yes, this is for the United States. But it is a growing number And even for like Mississippi, previously there were like three main locations: Tupelo, Jackson, and probably like Hattiesburg, I think was the main three that we previously had back in May, stuff like that. I went to one, my first protest ever. I've got a video of that if you want to check that out. That was in Jackson. And unfortunately, I really, really, really hate this, but unfortunately, I cannot make it this Saturday. I have already something planned that I am supposed to attend um, around the time that these protests, especially the ones in Jackson, were supposed to happen. So I unfortunately will not be able to, as much as I want to. I will not be, as a previous engagement that I already promised to be at. And so I'm going to be there. But this protest and this, movement, the purpose of it, it will be on my mind. I mean, I have a hands off and a No Kings like bumper sticker on my car. It's been on there for weeks now. Well, almost a month now. So I am in solidarity with the movement, with the whole idea, wholeheartedly. But I honestly, if you can attend in any location that you are, you can go here to nokings.org, check your location, check where you can go to one if you would like. I urge you to, if you possibly can, because all hands on deck need to be there. Now, the concern is, though, that with the military march or parade going on in Washington and the previous threats, and they were threats made by Trump, that any protester, he didn't even specifically break down like violent protest, like rioters, because I would argue violent protest should not be really the way you describe those, but rioters and whatnot. He didn't. He said it was promised to pretty much any and all. Like, he just said protesters in general to the parade would be met with very big force. So because in lieu of that, even the No Kings movement has stated, they've had a statement on their website on June 14th, which is Flag Day, also Donald Trump's birthday, also the 250th anniversary of the U.S. military. Donald Trump wants tanks in the street and a made-for-TV display of dominance for his birthday, a spectacle meant to look like strength, but real power isn't staged in Washington, it rises up everywhere else. Instead of allowing this birthday parade to be center of gravity, we will make action everywhere else the story of America that day. People come together in communities across the country to reject strong man politics and corruption. For that reason, No Kings is not hosting an event in Washington, D.C. We will instead have a major flagship march and rally in Philadelphia to draw a clear contrast between our people-powered movement and the costly, wasteful, and un-American birthday parade in Washington. Because, it's going to cost upwards of 25 to 40 something million dollars for this parade. And that's just for the event itself. Not any kind of, I don't think that's even including any cost of the aftermath of this. And you can RSVP. For participants in the DC area, we encourage you to join us in Philadelphia. Find a local No Kings mobilization in Virginia or Maryland, or join the free DC for DC Joy Day, a community-led event in the district. So they are persuading, or they are urging for people in the DC area to to come to either Philadelphia or find mobilizations in Virginia or Maryland. They are not hosting one in Washington because they do not want to give Donald Trump the incentive to mobilize any kind of National Guard or any kind of military force on protesters in Washington. But here's the concern is mobilizing National Guard or any type of other military force across any other location in America a possibility. And Pete Hegseth affirmed the other day in his little questioning meeting or whatever at the Pentagon or at the I'm not sure where it was, but anyways, affirmed that there was readiness to deploy National Guard nationwide if necessary to suppress unrest. So now the concern is there going to be National Guard members or even hell Marines since they were sent to LA or any other military enforcement deployed or even just pre-deployed, like so that they are standing by kind of action in multiple cities around the U.S. Because we've, and probably mainly in these cities that are currently have had protests in solidarity with LA, like Chicago, like New York, like Atlanta, like I think it was Charlotte or some maybe Raleigh, whatever in North Carolina. I think there was one or two other locations that have had protests come up over solidarity with LA. These locations could very well have some sort of deployment placed there, or the deployment placed in like blue cities. This is the concern, and whether they would attempt to squall or hinder or suppress the No Kings protests. These, granted they can't do them all. I mean, over 2,000, come on, but to show some sort of a sign of suppression to any of these locations. And that's something that we are going to need to really pay attention to throughout the tomorrow and into Saturday. And as to whether or not, because this would be further signs of the intent to suppress protesting or dissent in the country against Trump and his administration, which we have been talking about here, for a while, or has been talked about by many for a while, is the concern that he would continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the fascist authoritarian actions, and further militarize the country, further threaten militarization towards any kind of dissent, whether the dissent is against him or against someone or group or something that he associates his movement to, or whatever the case. And this is a big concern. there we do we have to start seeing things for what they are. We have to start seeing the signs before it's too late. This military parade is, I mean, for outside of of being just completely unprecedented, we've never had some sort of show display of something like this for the military. I mean, is it not akin to somebody who has authoritarian ambitions, that has fascist ambitions, to show their strength using this type of tactic? I mean, at this point, if you are not realizing that the whole argument about him being anti-war and not being authoritarian, he's not concerned with being a dictator. He just wants America to be great again. The further crackdowns that are happening, the unconstitutional, illegal crackdowns that ICE has been doing on immigration, rounding up people like they are, kidnapping them off the streets, human trafficking them. And I'm saying this on purpose because that's what it fucking is. Without due process, sending them out of the country. I mean, they are continuing this by talking about now they're ready to start sending people to Guantanamo. Along with all the forceful pushback against judges, threatening judges. We've even had. I'm going to look into this further, but I even saw a minute ago about how supposedly DHS was threatened or attacked or some way some Congress members. I got to look into that one a little bit more to see what the details of that were. But this is what I'm talking about. These kinds of things, reports we are seeing coming out all over the place. And then now we have not only national um, dissent and national protest, but international dissent and protest in solidarity between the tariff issues, leaders, you know, being frustrated with actions that he's taken domestically, concerns and frustrations with actions being taken, destroying, you know, uh, agencies and trying to take away, firing people. I mean, all these, there's, there's a reason why there's a continued frustration and dissent from Americans all over the country. Why there is a continued reduction in Trump's popularity. Poll after poll is showing his popularity once again going down state to state because people are fed up and some are actually starting to see these actions and how they're going too far. And if you're one of those who at this point have still trying to defend him, still think that he is good for the country, all the chaos and and issues that have come about since he has taken over for the second time, and the show of power that he is trying to do now, if you do not realize what this man is really about and what he is doing to this country, at this day and age, at this day and point in time, I don't, it is baffling to me, and I don't know what else to say. It's not going to keep me from sitting here and talking about it. I'm going to keep trying to say what I can say, but it's getting harder and harder to argue that that's some a certain part of the population, you know, can still be like shown the light or something. I don't, I don't know. I don't know. It's almost, it blows my mind. Um, but there's a heavy concern right now that uh, that there's a serious threat, and that National Guard or active duty forces could be implemented, and would this then turn into an actual uh, the Insurrection Act actually being placed? Could it be implemented before Saturday, or will it be implemented after Saturday? I urge you to go to any of these locations as much as if you very much possibly can, but also be very protective of yourself, especially if you're in some of these major cities. Keep a watch out. Make sure you're prepared for any type of forceful pushback, because it's very possible. So stay safe, but still, it shouldn't dissuade you from doing what you have been, the right you have been given constitutionally, lawfully, to protest peacefully, to have dissent to an administration, especially the administration that is doing the things that it is doing. Let me know what you think. Are you concerned? Are you live? Are you planning to go to one of these locations that may be more concerning than other locations or whatever? Um, are you getting prepared, or is it dissuading you from going? Um, Let me know in the comments, and thank you very much for joining me. Peace. I'm ClearTalk, and I'm out.